Hello everybody, welcome to New Generation News. I'm your host Adrian Ho. Today is an honor for me again to have our esteemed guest, Mr. Alan Seaman, to be with us today. Thank you so much, Alan.
Adrian, it's my pleasure to be here.
I remember the last time I was here, it was during the by-election. So this is certainly my lucky chair, and you're definitely my lucky charm.
Well, I remember it very well as well. And you were running for LegCo at the time.
Yes.
And I was very impressed with you because you're a very bright young man. I thought you would be great for LegCo. And so far, I haven't been wrong. So
Thank you so
very
much.
happy you haven't let me down.
Thank you so much. As you know that about a week away from the government taking over the golf course.
Right.
Now, before we go into the conversation, please, to our audience, subscribe to our channel, hit the subscribe button, comment, and please share it amongst your friends if you like this video. And then if you press the bell icon next to it, the next time that we have new videos, we'll notify you. We're about a week away from the government officially and legally taking back our Fanling golf course.
Right.
And I saw your speech at the town planning meeting just a while back.
Right.
It was
Correct.
very, very refreshing. And I think that you spoke a lot of common sense, nothing fancy, basically just speaking things out of common sense. Now, much has developed ever since that meeting. You know, the
Correct.
judiciary review,
Correct.
for
Correct.
one. There's going to be a hearing coming up.
Yes.
I just would like to get your views on, as things are approaching the deadline, how do you think that it will progress?
Well, I was actually heartened to see that the golf people did take out, the management did take out a JR judicial review because I myself, and I declare it right now, I'm not a member of the golf course.
Neither am I.
And I don't play golf.
I don't play golf either.
I don't have time. But, you know, I fight for things that I think are wrong. And I really felt, and I still feel, that it's the wrong thing for Hong Kong to do. Because, to me, it's 130 years old. It's a national treasure. Whether it's a golf course or whatever it is, it's a monument. And it's the oldest golf course in Asia. And people come here, you know, especially, we're also a financial center, we're a business center. We have a lot of people coming from overseas. And whether we like it or not, the golf course is a place where a lot of business deals are done. You know, and Hong Kong is so active and so busy with so many things all the time. And so those people that, you know, it's really a pride for Hong Kong. And then to destroy it, or to, just for public housing, originally it was going to be 32,000 subsidized homes. And then, of course, they couldn't do it, you know, so now it's down to 9,000. You know, it just, it didn't make sense to me. You know, we've got so much land in Hong Kong, a lot, for 9,000 homes. You know, I mean, 32 hectares before, you know, and now they're down to like 9,000 hectares or whatever it is. It doesn't make sense. And so I came out and I said that it's something that I really believe that we should, as a non-member, for Hong Kong's sake, it's really important that we continue to have tradition, because government doesn't know how to run a golf course or how to take back a golf course. And to take back X amount of holes, 9 holes, and you know, 8 holes, and then leave the balance for the golf course, you're destroying. It's like taking half of the building off and leaving the balance because it's heritage. Unfortunately, I don't blame John Lee, because it was something he inherited. It was a gift given to him by the last administration.
Astonishing.
And I understand the problem, the dilemma he faces, because he didn't want the have-nots to complain that I'm waiting for houses and that kind of thing, and then here we're giving it to the rich. He was worried about having a divide between society, which I understand from his point of view, and so he really didn't want to have to make the wrong decision, because either way, he can't win.
Now that we're here today, let's be a little aggressive, shall we?
Yes.
How do you think the JR's gonna go? How do you think it's gonna go? And then how do you see the whole process happen?
I was quite enheartened to see some of the reports coming out from this judge. You know, I think that he realizes the importance of it, I think. And I truly believe that, I'm hoping that he really rules for the golf course, you know, to keep the golf course. And that would actually make it a lot easier for government. That would make it a lot easier, even though some in government, like Bernadette Lynn, you know, is very adamant that we have to do this, right? Cannot, you know, and I don't like that kind of attitude, because, you know, government people are also Hong Kong citizens, and they also need to do things that are good for Hong Kong and look at the big picture like I do. And so that's why there always needs to be some kind of compromise. I mean, I always, in my business world, in my life, I've always compromised when I could in order to help out, to make sure that two sides win. Right. And there's a solution for both sides to win. I mean, even there's a Northern Hospital at the end of the road. It's a narrow road, and they appealed to me as well, because they called me and said, you know, if there's emergency ambulance on the road and you've got a housing estate there, and the road will be blocked, you know, with traffic, yeah, the ambulance won't be able to get through. It's not like it's a divided highway or anything like that. It's a small little single country road. And so these are things, it's just the wrong place. I mean, to me, the feng shui for it is wrong.
Definitely.
It's not the right place. And those are things that really upset me, because this is not Hong Kong. Maybe it's the old style of Hong Kong, right. But in today's world, and with this chief executive, who I think a lot of, you know, I think that I'll do anything to help him. So I really think that, and the lawyer that the golf course has, like Benjamin Yu, is great. He's a very one of the top lawyers in Hong Kong. So they went after him, and I know government has Rimsky Yoon, who used to be the head of the Justice Department. But I think that in this case, I think that we have a pretty good argument, and so I'm hoping that the best thing, if the judge really rules for the golf course, that absolves a lot of people, and then they can find other land. That's what I'm saying. That's not the last piece of land we have in Hong Kong.
Definitely. The way I look at it is this, in the more simplistic way.
Yeah.
If you look at public opinion, it's very much polarized right now. There are opinion that believes that shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
Now there are opinion that obviously think that it should be done. It's very polarized right now. There's no one opinion that stands out.
I agree.
Except the government. Now, Hong Kong obviously have gone through a lot. 2019, COVID. Now, there are a few major milestones, objectives that Hong Kong needs to hit. Number one, that Hong Kong needs to solve our housing problem. Long-term housing problem.
Great.
The other is that Hong Kong needs to establish itself as the international financial center. And in the process, that we want to be, you know, the city of extravaganza, right? And the golf course certainly provides
all three.
for that.
Yeah.
Right? We can hold international events there.
100%.
And then a lot of businesses can be conducted here.
Yes.
At the same time that another big objective is that Hong Kong needs to protect heritage. So in terms of big objectives with the government, how do you even balance that? So one, we got to solve a housing problem. The other one that we got to keep ourselves as a extravaganza city.
Adrian, it's very easy to balance. First of all, we're always in competition with our neighbors.
Right.
Hong Kong's reputation has really suffered a lot because of the Cold War between the West, the US, and China. Hong Kong is collateral damage. We got thrown into it. And of course, anything they can do to hurt Hong Kong, to keep saying how bad we are. And,
right.
And so this is really something that I don't want to see happening. If you look at Singapore, Singapore has 13 golf courses today. Hong Kong, I think we're at 6.
We're at
something
6.
like that. It doesn't make sense to me, this whole thing, because we're trying to tell the world that Hong Kong is open and Hong Kong is one of the best financial centers in the world, and,
right.
and especially for Asia, and we've got all the freedom as before. I get calls all the time, Adrian, from people overseas, even business partners overseas, calling me and saying, "Oh, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? You're still there? Are you moving out?" It doesn't make sense to me, because I keep saying, we're safer here, we're better here than you are in the U.S., with their gun laws and everyday shootings and all that. I don't have to worry here. So I say this is the best place in the world. Don't believe the BS that you see in the media or you hear.
Right. And
so it's important that we continue to have that. I mean, yesterday, one of the major people at the golf course, sent me a newspaper article that they received from somebody in the U.S. or Canada, really saying how bad Hong Kong is now because of the golf course. Must have been a golfer, and wanting to destroy this heritage site, and it's just really showing where Hong Kong is. We stopped the protests, and we didn't stop freedom and all that stuff. Tying that, and I should send that to the government. I didn't want to send it because it made me angry. And then this morning he sent me WhatsApp and said, "You were smart. You didn't send it. It would have upset them." For me, I believe the right decision will be made, and I believe, within the beautiful thing about Hong Kong, we have a great independent judiciary, and they will make these right decisions. I've seen this judge on
right.
many cases, really rule against government on many things, and so he's pretty fair. And so I'm just hoping, in the long run, things will work out.
Okay. To conclude the show, I'm going to ask you a final question. In a few words, what do you say to the Hong Kong people that comes up to you and say, I get that sometimes too, and say, "Hey, you know what? You're rich. You're privileged. What do you care? Have you ever considered, us that aren't able to get a decent home, and then now you're trying to advocate for the rich, for the privileged?"
Yeah.
What do you say to, people?
I get that as well. But what I say to them is, understand, Hong Kong is a financial center. It's a business center. We've always have been. That's always been the strength of Hong Kong. And so what I say to them is, if we destroy that, the home that you don't have, you'll never get. If we destroy the strength of Hong Kong from the business side of moving ahead, I said, don't you want your children to have a better future, a good future for yourself? Yes, I'm urging the government as well to actually speed up the housing, because that's been a huge problem. That was invented by the British, not by Hong Kong, actually. Right. And so that's a carryover. It wasn't China that set up these rules. China's been actually, President Xi Jinping has really been pushing Hong Kong government to speed up, because since the handover in '97, I've been an advisor for every chief executive from Sun Chi-hua onward. And I can tell you, that's been one of the biggest fallacies, the biggest problems we've always had, because of the slowness, the regulations. The regulations must be updated. We have to digitalize. We have to do things that are modernized now. We've got to move out from the past. Then people will have a better life, a better home. We have land, and that's for sure. And if we don't, we can have enough land that we can take a little bit and make it happen. I've talked to the chief executive about this. I said, it hurts me that, I've said to him that he lived in a housing estate. He grew up in a housing estate. So he understands in this heat, in today's world with climate change and all that, people living in subdivided flats, 200,000 people living in subdivided flats in a city like Hong Kong, it's immoral. And that, to me, is the #1 priority. But we need the golf course as well. It's a balance. You don't suddenly tear down some of the buildings in Central and build housing, because then you have nothing. So we need to balance both. We need to look after the business community, because that's what makes Hong Kong get stronger and stronger, and creates jobs. Because if there's no jobs for people, it doesn't matter. You don't need a home. And so that's the most important thing. That's what I tell people that come up to me and say, I talk about this. It's about getting you a home quicker.
Thank you so much, Alan. That concludes the show. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, comment, and share it amongst your friends. And press the bell icon next to it so that when we have new videos, we'll gladly notify you. So, bye-bye.
Well, I like this video, so bye-bye.